Jim, my friend Trixie went gluten-free, and she says she feels so much better. But I can't find any real science behind why someone would go gluten-free.
Well, there's several reasons people might go gluten-free. The most important being if they have a true allergy to gluten, and that's called celiac disease. And it's very important that those people eliminate gluten from their diet. There are some people that may have gluten intolerance, which is inflammation caused by gluten. Although I'm not convinced it's the gluten, I think it's maybe more of a gut microbiome problem. You know, that being said, the vast majority of people who adapt a gluten-free diet really don't need to be on a gluten-free diet.
Okay, well, what really is gluten?
So gluten is a number of proteins that are found in grains, particularly wheat, rye, and barley. And from a food standpoint, it acts like a glue. So, for example, when we make a dough like this, it's what makes it stretchy, right? It's like a glue to hold the food together.
Gluten.
There you go.
It's a pretty good way of remembering it. So you talked about a gluten allergy, but what causes an intolerance?
Right. So as I said earlier, I think it's more of a gut microbiome problem, and we need a healthy gut microbiome to maintain the integrity of the cells in the small intestine. And when we populate our gut with unhealthy bacteria, for example, we take too many antibiotics or we don't get enough fiber in our diet, that causes the junctions between the small intestinal cells to separate and leak. And so we leak things like gluten proteins into the bloodstream, which may trigger inflammation in some people.
Oh, but then why has there been such an uptick in people who aren't allergic or have an allergy? Why is there such an uptick in people wanting to go gluten-free?
Well, I think there's a perception out there, mainly driven by social media and even the mainstream media, that a gluten-free diet is in fact more healthy, it's less inflammatory. And don't forget marketing, right? I mean, gluten-free products have skyrocketed in the grocery store. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and that number's growing each year.
Yeah, I'm sure, because there are when I go grocery shopping, there are full aisles dedicated just to gluten-free products.
That's right.
So are there dangers of going gluten-free if you don't need to?
There are, in fact. So despite the perception that it's more healthful, in fact, it may actually be less healthful. Many of the gluten-free products have less fiber, fiber being one of the most important nutrients that most people are lacking in their diet. There's also, they typically have more fat, and don't forget, they cost a lot more.
Again, right, when I go grocery shopping, they're everywhere, and the prices have really, really escalated.
Right. So Caryn, I have a question for you. For people that are gluten intolerant or have a gluten allergy, how can you help them enjoy foods that typically have gluten?
I have one for you today. These are, because we have these out here, these are examples of types of gluten-free flour that you'll find at just about any grocery store. And today, I'm going to be making a cracker with this chickpea or garbanzo bean flour. So let's get cooking.
Great. So Caryn, looks like you're all suited up and ready to go in your brand new Doc and Chef coat. That looks amazing.
Thank you. And speaking of amazing, we are making my amazing herb crackers today. No gluten necessary.
All right.
Yep. All right. So I have my 11 cup food processor here. I love this guy. And we're going to start off with gluten-free oats. This is the easiest recipe. This is really just a dump and whirl, if you will.
Yeah.
So we have gluten-free oats there, and this is our cup of chickpea or garbanzo bean flour. We're going to put that in there.
Can I ask you a question about the oats?
Yeah.
So, oats don't typically have gluten in them.
Right.
Naturally.
Mm-hmm.
So why do you need to worry about gluten in oats?
Well, because usually facilities that process the oats also process foods that have gluten in them. So there's cross-contamination.
I see. So if people have true gluten allergy, celiac disease, where a little bit of gluten could set them off, it's very important. I got it.
Yeah. So you want to make sure that your oats, if you need to go gluten-free, that your oats say gluten-free
got it. Thank
oats.
You.
Yep. These are some whole hemp hearts.
Right. Great source of omega-3 fatty acids, by the way.
Yes.
Which are
anti-inflammatory. These are sesame seeds.
Great source of calcium.
Thank you. This is ground flaxseed.
Another great source of omega-3s.
Yes. Okay, so we don't have a whole lot of flavor going on in here, So we really want to, and you know I like to infuse flavor wherever I am cooking, whenever I'm cooking.
One of your favorite F words.
One of my favorite F words. God, not now. So this is, you'll recognize this. You know what this is.
Nutritional yeast.
Yeah, so the crackers are going to have just a little bit of a cheesy flavor. We're going to add in some salt, just a healthy pinch, because we're going to have a lot of crackers here. And then, so we have salt. Let's add its friend, ground pepper, for a little bit of a kick. And then also, I love this 21 seasoning from Trader Joe's, so I'm going to add in a healthy amount of that.
So let me ask you a question. You know, we talked earlier about how gluten is glue that helps bind our food together. So how are you going to bind these crackers without gluten?
Right. So you do need a binder. And oats are a great binder, as are flax seeds, ground flax seeds, when water is added.
Right.
So what we're going to do now is top off our food processor, turn it on, and I have 1 cup of water here. And when I make these, sometimes I use the whole 2 cups, sometimes I'm just, a couple of tablespoons short. So let's just drizzle it in, and once a ball of dough begins to form, that's when we're going to stop.
Got it. So you're just looking for the consistency.
Right. Okay, and we don't want to, run it too long because we don't want a real puree.
Right.
Now, what we're going to do here is just let this kind of hang out for a minute or two, and really let that flaxseed and the oats soak up that water so that it's a little bit more firm, and then we can lay it out on a cookie sheet.
All right, great.
Okay, it looks good. It smells delicious too.
Yeah.
So we're going to take it off of the food processor, take out the blade, scoop it right in there. I'm going to put this right back in the sink to get it out of our way. And we have a parchment paper lined pan.
Yeah. And you've got the oven preheating, right?
Yep, at 350.
All right.
It's nice and thick. Oh, these are going to cook up so well. All right, so you have a spatula.
One for you, one for me.
Okay.
I've never made crackers before. This is amazing.
Oh, so fun. Okay, I'm going to take off let's give it a kind of a pre-scoop
a
pre-spread with my gloved hand.
And what do we just want to press this down, right?
So we want to smooth it out to about like 1/4 of an inch thick, because, they're crackers, right?
Right, and that'll help be crispy too, right?
Yes. So, you just have to be, right, you want to use a spatula or a silicone spatula, but you have to kind of get used to doing this. I know there's a little bit of a learning curve.
Getting there.
I know, yeah, I mean, it's okay. Usually takes me a little bit to do. This is actually the most tedious part.
Right,
yeah.
spreading the cracker mix around, right?
But it does make a good amount of crackers. Okay, so let's get these into our 350 oven for about 15 minutes. And then what we're going to do is add the garnish, just a couple different seeds for more texture.
Yep.
And we're going to score it.
All right.
And then we're going to put it back in the oven.
All right, sounds good. Can't wait.
Okay, so in the oven now, you can lick, because I know you want to. And I'm going to go to the oven.
All right.
Doesn't it smell amazing in here?
It really does.
I cannot wait to dig into these. Okay, so, but first, what we want to do, these have been in the oven for 15 minutes.
Okay.
Now I'm going to score them, and be careful.
Yeah, it's hot.
Yeah, very hot. We're just going to give it
the old pizza cutter, right?
Pizza cutter. Now here's the thing. If you wanted to do, you can cut these in any way you want. They're your crackers, right?
Right.
If you wanted to get out
squares or
Oh, yeah, but also cookie cutters. You can do
right.
animals for kids.
Oh, right.
Wouldn't that be so fun?
Yeah, for sure.
If you're having like a Christmas party or a holiday party, you could do fun shapes.
There we have it.
But today we'll just go for the
cracker look.
For the cracker look. Look at
Look at that. I don't know. Do you color between the lines too?
Do you know, so growing up, my mom used to always cut the grass, the lawn. And one time, they're like, my mom was like, "Come on, Caryn, it's time for you to learn how to do this." So I did it one time, and all the lines. They never asked me to do it again.
I can see where you got your skills here, right?
Right. There's a lesson, kids. All right, so you pick up, and we're going to garnish these.
Okay.
Those are
Sunflower seeds.
Sunflower seeds, thank
Right.
you. And I have hulled pumpkin seeds. And you just put them wherever, all over the crackers, the cracker mixture. Because they're not quite crackers yet.
Pseudo cracker, halfway there.
They're half baked.
Half baked, yes. Kind of like you're cutting. Is
Yeah,
half baked.
Okay.
All right,
Done.
gotta get serious.
Now,
Well,
here's,
I
now
guess-
don't throw it on the floor. Now I gotta clean that up. All right, so then you just want to give them just a nice little tap so they can. Are you finished? Are you
Yeah,
finished?
I'm finished.
Okay, thank you. All right, so these are going to go back into the oven for 45 minutes.
Okay.
And then we can dig in.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, the time has come.
These look absolutely amazing.
Yeah, don't
It
they?
smells amazing
I was
too.
just going to say, doesn't it just smell
Yeah.
really, really great in here? All right, well, you can see that after the scoring, we have, the crackers have shrunk, essentially. And as they cool down, they will crisp up even more.
Well, they look pretty crispy to start with. Can I
Good.
try one?
Yeah.
All
Let's
right.
go for it.
I'm going to have mine with a little bit of hummus here.
I'm going to not because I know that they're so flavorful.
Oh my goodness. That's amazing.
Isn't it good? Yeah.
Really good.